All right. Relationships. I'm fond of saying relationships are hard. It's true in life and it's true in programming. So, relationships, there are a couple different types of relationships. There's one to many, and many to many. For the red belt, you need to master one to many. Okay. If you want a black belt, you have to master many to many. Much harder, right? This is a different world. When you go from one to many, it's just like, whoa. Okay. So, one to one, let's start with that. And one
That's
to
funny
one,
because it goes for your analogy still. Like he said, relationships are hard. Like one-to-one relationships are easy or hard
So
enough, but one-to-many relationship is
one to
hard.
many
And
isn't
then
too
many to
bad.
many.
I mean, one to many, it's not bad. It's really not. But when you get into many to many, you start adding tables and foreign keys and all that stuff. It gets a little crazy. So, one to many. I'm sorry, one to one. Let's start easy. Um, this is you're basically. I say Yagni. You don't even know what that stands for? Yagni is you ain't gonna need it. Okay, one to one relationships are. I can't think of very many real life one to one relationships. I can think of name and social security number, name and driver's license number. Whenever I have veterans, there's some number they give you in the military that's like only one person has, but there aren't very many one to one relationships, right? I can think, like I said, I can think of maybe two or three, right? There could be more than one person at an address, so that's not one to one. So they're just basically, you're not really going to use them. One use case for a one to one would be like if you have a person and then you have another, you want to keep track of medical information or financial information, then you would have like a separate table that only admin has access to, and you would separate it out that way. But otherwise, it we're not gonna it's not gonna be on the test is the short and sweet of it, right? So the issue though is we need to look at this address underscore ID. Okay, so this is what's known as a foreign key. So if something belongs to something else, then it has a foreign key. Okay, so if an address belongs to a user, then the address is going to have a foreign key representing which user it belongs to. Okay. So the address ID, wait, now I'm getting confused. Hold on.
So are you saying like it automatically takes the value of the address and stores it as an ID that you'll see on the
No,
table?
no. So if I want a to keep track of a customer's address, that foreign key will represent the primary key in another table.
Okay.
So
So
the,
4 is to 1, as 5 is to 2, as 6 is to 3.
right, right, exactly. So this ID in the addresses table is the foreign key in the customers table. Okay.
Say it again.
So the
Oh,
primary
yes,
key
yes, yes,
in the
yes.
relationship is the foreign key for the item that it belongs to.
Okay.
Okay. So that's just how this is going to be how we create relationships. We're going to give a table a foreign key column, and that's going to represent what that is related, what the items in that table are related to. Okay. It's easier to see in one to many, but just understand that the foreign key is the primary key of another table.
And is there any reason they're doing that with the address, or are they just showing that because the address has different values for well, it has like different sections. You know, you have your street, then you have your
Right.
city, then you have your state.
Right.
So that's the only reason why they're doing it, to show that's what you would do if you had something that had okay.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So again, one to one, I kind of want to get away from it because it's like I think it's adds to the confusion. Just realize that it exists. but we're not going to use it. Okay. And it has, I would say, very limited use cases. One-to-many, on the other hand, you need to learn to love and appreciate and cherish one-to-many, because we are going to have a lot of one-to-many relationships. Okay, so one-to-many is the most common, and it's basically the case where, and again, this is the addresses one, but I don't like, pretend that the addresses isn't there. Okay, an order belongs to a customer. A customer can have many orders. Okay, so the order belongs to the customer. So we establish the foreign key on the orders. Okay, so here are the customers: Randall Frisk, Michael Choi, Dexter Clark. Here are the orders. Okay, so the order belongs to a customer if its foreign key corresponds to the primary key of the customer. Let me say that again. An order belongs to a customer if the foreign key corresponds to the primary key of the customer. Okay. So, having said that, how many orders does Michael Choi have?
He has two.
He has two. Why?
688 and 689. He have his customer ID.
Right.
Their foreign key.
Does everybody see that?
Okay, so his order, which is customer ID, would be 2 orders.
Order isn't the same as customer ID. It's just kind of associated.
Okay, can you rephrase all that?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So, no, because it's important. I wanted to make sure everybody's on board with this before we go on. So ignore the address stuff. Okay. A customer has a first name and a last name and an ID, right?
Right.
So if there were another Michael Choi in the world, and he's the founder of Coding Dojo, so there can only be one, just in case he's watching this. So if we had another Michael Choi, that, Michael J. Choi as opposed to Michael M. Choi, we would have an ID of 4, right? That's how we distinguish between, right? There's only one Michael Choi with those orders. Okay.
Right.
So Michael Choi has orders 688 and 689. So he bought something for $200 and a long time ago. 10 years ago, he bought something for $200 and $195, right? 2 separate orders. So imagine those are orders on Amazon, could be orders at a restaurant, doesn't matter. But those are each his.
Oh, okay. I got so lost. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna draw on the screen real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. Okay, so that's where you get Michael Choi, right? Number 2.
Yep.
And then you're asking his orders, and then that's his customer ID right there. Okay, his customer ID is right there. And then he has 2 orders, one from 10 years ago on the 5th and 15 days after. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
He
cool.
decided he had to spend more money, right? Exactly.
Really
So
like that product. Okay, cool. I gotcha. I was like, where in the world? Okay, cool. Yeah.
cool.
I bet.
So just to make
Cool.
sure, how much did Randall Frisk spend on his order?
$225.
$225, right? How much what is the order number for Dexter Clark's order?
It would be
690.
690, right? Okay, so there can only be one order, 690 with 165, right? There could be others like it, but this is the only one that belongs to Dexter Clark.
So, Tyler, what makes this one-to-many? Is it the fact that it goes to the addresses part, or the fact that he can have multiple orders?
Yeah, so ignore the addresses. Yeah, pretend block that out. So one-to-many, one customer can have many orders. Okay. So, and I always remember, I could never keep straight in my head foreign keys. I found them like infinitely confusing. So what I said to myself was, the belongs to gets the foreign key. That was my mantra. So if it belongs to something else, it gets the foreign key. So these orders belong to Michael Choi, so they get his ID. They're stamped with his ID. Okay. Any questions?
Could there be an order ID?
Can there be an order ID?
Right, because we have the customer ID with the address ID linking to the
Good.
address is the customer ID.
Good.
What they bought, but could there be an order ID like 687 or whatever?
Good question. So I think your question, what you're asking is why don't we just put the foreign key on the customer, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So if a customer has 10 orders, then we're going to make 10 columns, right? So where's my pen? Why can't I draw? Oh, there it is. So if Michael Choi has 2 orders, right? So we got to add a table for Michael Choi's 1 order. We got to add another table for his other order, right? But Michael Frisk only has 1 order. So he's only going to have an entry right here. And then all these, the other columns are going to be blank.
Yeah.
Dexter Clark now places 9 more orders. We got to tack on 9 more columns for Dexter Clark, right? So we're going to keep going. So it doesn't really make sense to put the foreign key on the customer's table because we have a variable number of columns on that table, right? We don't know how many orders a customer is going to have. So the easier way to keep track of it is we just tack on this foreign key to what belongs to something else. And then when a customer places an order, we're going to make the order row. We just tack on the customer's ID, and that's how we establish the relationship.
Okay, I see where this is going. It's like okay, so it's like a data tree.
Yeah,
kind of like the roots and all that.
Sort of. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, everybody's good on one-to-many. Let me get